Alright, welcome back to Eden Zero Anime Review Episode 4. This being the fourth episode of the anime, A Man Called Weisz. Yep, episode picked up exactly where we left off last week. Before I continue with what actually happened in this episode happened from pretty much chapters 5 and 6 and almost the entirety of chapter 7 with the exception of the last 2 pages. Yep, almost 3 chapters. Not bad. So, Weisz figures out though that, well, he thinks they work for a guy named Cease, which they mention, and of course they mention him later. And of course, Shiki, still wearing the goggles he got, decides to look up, oh, there's a guy upstairs, and Weisz is like, what? Oh, those are my goggles. And then he proceeds to, the guy upstairs shoots at the place, and of course, Weisz gets away. Though, looking off that, well, Shiki knocks the guy out, and of course, they decide to walk around for a bit. And they notice apparently there's no internet connection. And then they notice apparently, oh yeah, the guild that they're part of, they say just opened, like, wait, it's new? And they figured out, though, while looking at the year, like, oh crap, they just went back in time 50 years. Yes, they just realized that because according to Happy, from their perspective, it's supposed to be X492. This is basically the year X442. But there's more stuff here. So they later, of course, go to a diner, and then, of course, they go to a bar. Yes, a bar full of aliens. You're probably thinking, what is this, Mos Eisley from Star Wars? Because of all the various aliens? Well, it looks like a standard bar you would see in basically the anime. Just a regular looking bar, looking semi-futuristic. And lucky enough that Steiner himself shows up, I don't know his last name. Sheener, he just basically just shows up. Because Becca just basically brushes over, it's like, oh crap, it's you. Oh yeah, it's revealed, and before it gets to this particular point, they run into the guy She's. Now, there is a slight change they made to him here. Well, this particular scene, and it's the interior of his cockpit, because in the manga, they made it a blank white space. In the anime, it's a lot more detailed, which I gotta at least appreciate JC staff for doing that, because that was actually pretty nice of them to do. I think because, oh yeah, they work with Weisz, they basically think that he may have their money. Yeah, it turns out what's actually inside the case Weisz is carrying is not money at all. Nope, it's not refused to the bar, of course. It's a Friday the 52 run away using his ether gear, which are like, wait, they're flying, and of course they get away, no problem. That's when they figure out it's 50 years in the past, and of course they can't really interfere. And of course, Mr. Weisz, and of course they show him a picture of what he looks like from their perspective, like, oh no, my hair is thin out. That's the first thing you react to, your hair, not the fact that you're 50 years older. You always talk about is your hair. And he's like, oh, I basically made this for you. Like, there's a slight little bit of dialogue cut out here, but mostly it's still the same scene. Excuse me. And then we have where Shiki opens up the case. And is there money inside? Nope, it's a tiny robot named Pino. Well, E.M. Pino, mind you. Yes, this is actually her first appearance. And kudos for basically JC for basically spot on how the manga presented the scene. Like, just wakes up, like, all of these memories, and, like, she just wakes up, and of course she has this ability where she temporarily just EMP, knocks electricity for about a few seconds. Yep, and of course they mention about her previous master. They think it's actually the actual bad guy, but it's probably somebody else. So then, of course, well, we chase after the robot. And then, of course, Shiki and Rebecca look at her maintenance log, and it reveals that, well, this guy is really terrible. He really wanted to see his robot dance. She didn't know how to dance, so what did he proceed to do? He ripped off her robotic leg and then basically tried to almost wipe her memory. They also, that was like, what they were like, just put a nail there. Could explain why there's a nail there currently. Shiki's like, screw this, screw the timeline. I want to save this robot. Becca's like, yeah, let's do that. and they go off and prepare to take on the bad guy, Sino, which that should be interesting. I gotta say, great episode. Still, we're technically this second episode part of the normal arc because the fact they got that chapter 6. They have roughly almost about 5 chapters, but in actuality, it's like actually it would be about 6 because this arc ends at chapter 11. So they got roughly about 5 chapters left to adapt. Actually, more like 4. Yep, 4 chapters. So my prediction for when this arc finishes up, episode 6. That's when this arc will finish before they move on to the third arc of the series. Now, I'm enjoying Eden Zero so far. It's really good, thoroughly enjoyable, and I kind of wish they released more stuff on the website, but the website I read it from, but alas, they haven't released anything new yet for quite a while. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review. Next video is going to be a review of the newest chapter of Blue Exorcist, and I'm going to do other videos today. I mean, not just this one and Blue Exorcist, but also Yoshihime Apprentice Half Demon, My Hero Academia, One Piece, Case Closed, and Boruto. Yep. Oh, and here's the thing. No chapter review for Black Clover today because all the manga, except for Spy X Family, exception of that one, everything else is taking a week off. I mean, I get One Piece, but why everything else? My Hero, everything else has been a while since I took a week off. I guess they felt like it. Yep. So until you see the next video, which will be Blue Exorcist. Bye.